Hey guys, Ed here bringing you part 9 of the Super Soldier. I know it has been months since I last uploaded, and I apologize. But like I mentioned in the post, I'm struggling with real life stuff, so until I manage to clear out most of my stuff, I can't upload very much. Because I hardly have anything to upload. But don't worry, I'll do my best. With that said, let's get into it.
Fearless.
Where we last left off. After the USJ event, Izuku woke up in Recovery Girl's office and he decided to get his frustrations out. And to his surprise, the security robots gave him a hard time. But after All Might arriving, the robots stopped, and Izuku had somewhat of a heart-to-heart moment with All Might. Afterwards, he went back to the nurse's office to get dressed, and waiting for him were Suyu and Mina, giving him the updates. But not too long after, Izuku's brother, Kenji, entered the room, furious, blaming everything on Izuku. "Teach me a lesson?" questioned Izuku, annoyed with his brother. "Did you already forget our last lesson after father's death?" "You'd think I'd forget that," Kenji retorted, annoyed. "This time will be different. If I'm not mistaken, your arms and your legs were broken, and they had to keep you tied up to the bed with the other guy that wasn't so lucky," Izuku stated, intending it as a warning. "If you do the same as last time, you'd be lucky to still be breathing." "There you are, showing your true colors," Kenji said. "You claim to be a hero, but you're nothing more than a bully, just like the ones that you hate so much. Did power go to your head?" Izuku looked away as he put on his socks. "Oh, right. I forgot. Your excuse was terrible anger management," Kenji said. "Who caused it this time? Everyone you've ever cared for are already 6 feet under." "They defiled Nana's corpse and sent it to kill me, knowing where I was," Izuku said, with no hint of anger as tears were swelling up in his eyes. "And I killed it. I killed Nana with my bare hands to save everyone." Kenji was left speechless because, in that moment, he was reminded the same Izuku he always defended. And he was torn to either comfort him or not. "I don't know what to say to that," Kenji said. "This isn't the good old times, so stop acting like a fucking child and grow up. Aren't you supposed to be the eldest?" "I'm only 15. What do you want me to do?" Izuku said, annoyed. "It's not my fault that I still look like this." "But you want to know what is?" Kenji questioned. "Accepting Dad's offer, putting who knows what that serum was in your body, poking your nose where it didn't belong, and fighting in a war that didn't concern you, and especially not caring for your loved ones." "Not caring for any loved ones, you say?" Izuku questioned angrily as he grabbed Kenji by the collar of his shirt. "I put myself through all that because I cared. I knew that I would have died because of my illness, and you knew if I had a chance to live, I'd take it. I joined war because I wanted to make sure that you and everyone else I cared for were safe. But I guess you'll never accept that, will you?" "Is that so?" Kenji questioned, breaking away from Izuku's hold. "You knew I was against the whole idea of you going into the military, signing up for this experiment. Yet you did it anyways." "You have no idea how I felt over the years," Izuku said angrily. "You have no idea how it feels to be constricted to your entire life. Not being able to do whatever you want because your body can't do it. how much I envied you and your freedom to do whatever. While I was more times in the hospital, they had a replica of my bedroom there. And you definitely have no idea how it feels to have death watching over you, tapping at his wristwatch, knowing that sooner or later it would have run out of time. So excuse me if I decided to do things my way and hoping for a better outcome. Better outcome? Kenji questioned, sarcastically. Which part of this is a better outcome? All you have done is abandon your family. You ditched your teammates. You went against orders. And I did the right thing, Izuku said with a stern voice. But you can't understand. You've had it easy ever since you were born. But before anything else could be said, Recovery Girl entered the room, finding the two brothers arguing. I heard students running down the hallway because there was a fight going on in my office, Chiyo said, but it seems that I was interrupting. Nothing was going on. I was looking for my granddaughter, Kenji said, trying to change the subject. Don't worry, she's fine, Chiyo said. If it makes you feel better, the damage to her body were only caused by her own quirk. Quirk? Kenji questioned. My little Izumi doesn't have a quirk. Apparently she awakened it between the 10 months before the entrance exams, Chiyo said. It's an enhancement quirk. But our family doesn't have enhancements, Kenji said. Unless... Kenji, I know that your wife Sakura couldn't bear any children. She told me herself, Chiyo said. So tell me, who is your daughter's biological mother? Kenji, what is Chiyo talking about? Izuku asked, unaware on what's going on. Izuku, I think you should wait outside, Chiyo said. No, he's my brother, Izuku said. Besides, he always knew about my condition back in the day, so this shouldn't matter. Nana, Kenji managed to say. She's Inko's biological mother. Everything went silent for a moment. Izuku felt immense pain in his chest, and rage was bubbling to the surface, causing Izuku to throw a punch at his brother as rage overtook him. No wonder Inko looks like her, Izuku said, connecting the dots. You sick bastard. How could you? Izuku, calm down, Chiyo said. Calm down? Izuku questioned as he started to beat up his brother. Is this how you take vengeance? Through pettiness? Izuku, stop, Chiyo said. If you continue, he'll die. Fine, Izuku said, stopping his assault on Kenji, stepping away from him as tears were falling down his cheeks. I get it. It seems that no matter what I do, I can't change things that are set in stone. You win, brother. Chiyo looked at Izuku with confusion on her face, letting things play out. What do you mean? Kenji asked, confused and in pain. I forgot you're an old man, and you're only steps away of being senile, Izuku said with bitterness. I said, you win. Don't tell me that you're also deaf. Stop being childish, Kenji spat. Are you going to explain? What's there to explain? Izuku retorted. There's nothing to explain. It's clear as day. You win. Stop with this nonsense, Kenji said, managing to get on his feet. Are you going to tell me, or are you going to whine about it? It's clear to me that you were born lucky, no matter what you do. Everything just seems to fall on your laps, Izuku said, while I was lucky to be born. I get the short end of the stick, like always. Not this again, Kenji said, pinching the bridge of his nose. Always bringing that up. I already told you it's not true, Not true? Izuku questioned, wanting to strangle his brother. Then prove it. Name me at least 3 good things that happened to me. Kenji just looked down to the ground in silence. See? You weren't even able to name 1, Izuku said, turning away from him. I fought against my illness to be free. I fought in a war so others can be free and have a brighter future, even if I didn't live to see it. But what did you do? Last I checked, nothing. You haven't struggled much, nor as hard as I did. You were only there for the cleanup. Kenji was about to say something, but Izuku cut him off once more. I'm not done talking, Izuku said sternly. Even now, I still fight to keep those that I still care about safe. And you complain about me being alive. So I tell you to say your piece, because the moment I step out that door, you may consider me dead. Kenji was shocked, while tears started to flow down his cheeks, as whatever he wanted to say simply got stuck in his throat. Nothing, Izuku said softly. Very well. I'll take your silence as an answer. I hoped that you would say something, but it seems that I don't even have hope by my side. Which makes me think, why was I even born? Izuku walked out of the office without a word, breaking the door on his way out, while Recovery Girl hooked Kenji up to some equipment. What a caring brother you are, Chiyo said sarcastically. You couldn't even say a word? I'm disappointed in you. You had a chance to speak to your brother and tell him how you felt. But like a retard, you did nothing. Kenji just stood there processing, and that's when All Might arrived. I am here, All Might said as he was confused with what was going on. Why is the door broken? And where is Izuku? And who's that old man? I don't know where Izuku is, and Izuku was the one who broke the door on his way out, after doing this to his younger brother, Chiyo said. Why do you need him for? It's about Nana's funeral. Gran Torino decided to make a small funeral, mainly for Izuku and those that knew Nana-sensei. And Nezu's having it here at UA, since she was a teacher here. I see, Chiyo sighed. I hope that he comes back to his senses. He has a bad habit getting himself into trouble. As that was going on in Recovery Girl's office, we cut to Izumi in the bathroom having a mental breakdown. What is going on with me? Izumi said to nobody. Why do I feel this weird? And why do I feel worse whenever Uncle Izuku's mentioned? Izumi, are you okay? A voice said as they were clearly entering the bathroom. I thought you needed a hand, but it seems that you have things under control. Mina, which part of me having a mental breakdown is under control? Izumi said. Look at me. I'm a mess. And not in a good way. Chill, girl. We can talk about it if you want, Mina said. I mean, yeah, I've been acting weird ever since the USJ. Fine, let's talk about it, Izumi said reluctantly. What's bothering you? Mina questioned. It just feels weird, Izumi said. My confidence got a little boost, which is a plus, but it feels like I have some sort of regret. Does that make sense? To be honest, I have no clue what you're talking about, Mina replied. Jeez, thanks, Izumi said sarcastically. You're such a great help. Why don't you ask Izuku? Mina questioned. I'm sure he can help. He's the very definition of weird. Izumi thought about Izuku, and it could be shown on her face. Oh my, Mina said, entertained. I see how it is. And I have a solution to your problem. Wait, for real? Izumi said, unaware of her body language. Tell me, Mina, what is it? It's simple, really, Mina said. All you have to do is know where to look. What is that supposed to mean? Izumi said, irritated. Just tell me already. Girl, you're in love, Mina said bluntly. And by your reaction to Izuku's name, I can only assume that it's him that you're in love with. Me? In love? With Izuku? Izumi questioned as she thought about Izuku. I think I need time to process because it can't be love, right? By how you're reacting, you're head over heels. But there's also this concept of incest to deal with, Mina said. But who am I to judge? You could always try to ignore this, but I wonder how long you can fool yourself. What do you mean? Izumi hissed. He's my granduncle, my grandpa's brother. But he's our age, Mina retorted. Does that mean if Izuku finds a girlfriend and later on a wife, wouldn't they be regarded as your grand aunt or something? But if you were get together with him, would that make you like your grandpa's sister-in-law? Right? I don't like what you're implying, Izumi said, trying to ignore Mina. I wonder how Izuku and your grandpa are doing, Mina said, as an afterthought. Wait, my grandpa is here? Izumi said, worried. Where? In Recovery Girl's office, Mina stated. Sue and I left when we saw Recovery Girl. She said that she'll take care of things, and now I'm here. They're going to kill each other, Izumi said as she grabbed Mina by the shoulders and shaking her. I have to stop them. Before Mina could say anything, Izumi was already out the door, and after a few minutes, she entered Recovery Girl's office, seeing her grandfather on one of the beds. Grandpa, Izumi said, worried, not realizing Recovery Girl was there. Are you okay? He's fine for the most part, Recovery Girl said. But this old coot won't get any sympathy from me. Which is why, when he's able to move, I don't want to see him. Where's Izuku? Izumi questioned. Is he okay? Don't worry about Izuku. He's fine for the most part, Recovery Girl said. If you haven't noticed the condition of the door, he left a while ago. And he just had things to take care of. In his own way. He will be back tomorrow. Why don't you go back to class? Izumi looked at Recovery Girl with lingering questions, but decided not to voice them, afraid of them not being answered. She left the office and headed back to class, only to find All Might talking with Gran Torino. So she decided to eavesdrop. According to Recovery Girl, he stormed off, All Might said. If his brother is involved, nothing good can come out, Gran Torino said. And before you ask, I know Izuku, and he tells me everything. If I weren't around to kick some sense into him, he would have been punching bags and probably go insane for a lack of people in his life. So him coming here was your idea? All Might questioned. In a way, yes, but I spoke with his mother, Hana, Gran Torino said, and she was even more concerned, and she decided to speak with him. In other words, it's a mother's job to save their child. Or kick him around. But the question is, what will he do after this incident? All Might questioned. Villains invading and Nana Sensei's course being defiled and whatever he and his brother spoke about, even he must be feeling the pressure. Toshinori, Gran Torino said, sighing. There is no doubt in my mind that the villains are trying to lure Izuku out, and probably trying to find a way to get rid of him, because he is more of a threat to them than you are. But his brother, on the other hand, let's just say there is bad blood between them at the moment, and they don't see eye to eye. I understand the villain's motive. I mean, Izuku put the fear of God in all for one. All Might said, a bit jealous, wishing that he could do the same. But tell me, Sensei, why is there so much tension between Izuku and his brother? And how is that you've known all about it? I known about it because Izuku was my hero. He gave me taiyaki after I've been starving at the time, Gran Torino said. As for their relationship, you know how Izuku was dependent on others because of his illness, right? Yes, I do, All Might said, rolling his eyes. I've lost count how many times you mentioned it when I was a second-year student. So, go on. Up until the day Izuku was offered the serum, everything was fine, Gran Torino said. Tension grew afterwards. Izuku being Izuku, he decided to risk his life in order to save it. His brother, on the other hand, he didn't want to lose Izuku. I mean, you can't blame his brother, All Might said. His way of thinking is justifiable. Yes, justifiable. Up until the moment it succeeded, Gran Torino said. Because he was the only successful experiment, he was offered a place in the army to fight in the war. He could have declined, but because of his heart of gold, he accepted. But his brother started to curse his name. Okay, I mean, if he didn't want to lose Izuku, All Might said, trailing off. Toshi, since you can't come up with the actual reason, I'll just say it, Gran Torino said, annoyed. I believe the reason why is because of jealousy. What do you mean? All Might said. Jealousy, Gran Torino stated. Think about it, Toshi. Despite having a terminal illness, he had a backbone. His parents gave him more attention, and he found love. His brother, on the other hand, he had to be there for Izuku, and he secretly hoped that Izuku would die, so that he could live his life. But after Izuku became a statue, he's been blaming himself, and according to Chio, he hoped that he could ask for his forgiveness. If that's the case, why doesn't he talk with Izuku? All Might questioned. I mean, they did have a moment in Recovery Girl's office. Do you think they patched things up? No, they didn't, a voice said, making themselves known and dragging Izumi by the ear. And you two, you shouldn't talk about sensitive matters in public. Recovery Girl? Izumi? All Might questioned. What are you doing here? I was on my way to look for you, and I found her eavesdropping, Ricardo said. Weren't you supposed to find Izuku and tell him about tomorrow? Yes, after Toshinori told me that Izuku stormed off, I was about to go look for him, Gran Torino said. But he got curious. This is no time for curiosity, Ricardo said. Find Izuku because I'm sure something in him snapped. And I know he's going to do something stupid. I'll go look for him, Gran Torino said, leaving All Might with Recovery. As for you, little missy, Recovery said, getting Izumi's attention. You and I both know how sensitive family matter is. Just like we are doing our best to stay out of their business, you should do the same. And give your opinion if asked. What does tomorrow have to do with Izuku? Izumi questioned. Tomorrow, Gran Torino, with Principal Nezu's permission, is organizing a little funeral for Izuku's childhood friend and former UA teacher, Recovery Girl said. And the only people that are going to be there will be the people that knew her. I see, Izumi said, feeling bad about the situation. I'll just go back to class. Izumi left in a hurry, trying to escape the awkward situation, And after a few moments, realizing her escape was successful, she could finally sigh in relief. But the moment she entered her classroom, she can see the whole class arguing. "What is wrong with you people?" Izumi said, somewhat disappointed. "Can't you guys talk in a civil manner? Like regular people? More importantly, what's going on here?" "Thank you," Ida said, shouting from the far end of the classroom. "Finally, someone other than me or the teacher said it." "We are discussing about Izuku," Melissa said. "It seemed that no matter where he goes, he brings trouble." "Like I said, it was a mere coincidence," Kirishima said. "The villains were after All Might and Izuku just happened to be there." "Enough!" Izumi shouted, stopping the argument from escalating. "What is the deal, people? From what I've gathered, you're just blaming Izuku for the villain's appearance." "I mean, think about it," Melissa said. "Villains appeared when we were at the USJ, and they singled out Izuku from the beginning. Of course he's going to be targeted. He's far more of a threat than all of us combined. Maybe around All Might level threat," Izumi said, trying to reason. "And let's not forget that they were after All Might. And what's bothering me, how would they have known that All Might would have been there with us to begin with?" Everyone stood there in silence, realizing Izumi's words were true. "And on that note," Izumi trailed off, "how did he even know where we were going?" "Are you implying that we have a spy in our midst?" Momo questioned. "If that were the case," Melissa trailed off, "only those with our curriculum could have leaked out information like that and get away with it." "Do you think one of the teachers could be responsible?" Ochako questioned. "That is preposterous. Why would a teacher, a pro-hero no less, try to get rid of the number one hero and the first hero?" Ida interjected. "Who would want to be on the receiving end of All Might's punch and be on Izuku's bad side?" "You can say that again," Kirishima said, thinking back at the USJ. "When I asked him if he needed help, he denied it, and the look in his eyes sent shivers down my spine. Between All Might's glare and Izuku's glare, Izuku's more intimidating." The students contemplating some more until Aizawa entered the class. "Even when I'm not here, you have to make a ruckus," Aizawa said, drinking coffee. "Considering what happened with the SJ, I want you guys to rest up for today, and lessons will resume tomorrow. And you also want to make sure you work out as well, because the sports festival is drawing near. Or 2 weeks to be precise." "Wait, we're still doing it?" Kaminari said. "Don't you think it's a little bit risky?" "Considering the only people at the USJ that were injured were the Midoriyas," Aizawa trailed off, "mainly Izuku, and only the staff members were involved, we can hide the event entirely from the public." "What is that supposed to mean?" Mineta lamented. "I was looking forward for a few days of rest." "We're making a power move," Aizawa said, ignoring Mineta's complaint. "While the villains expects us to be running around like headless chickens, we'll throw them off by pretending that nothing ever happened." "Aizawa-sensei, you can't allow this," Momo said, a bit concerned. "What if the villains attacked again?" "Miss Yaoyorozu," Aizawa sighed, "if you have complaints, I'm sure the principal is more than willing to listen to them. But considering I don't get paid enough for this shit, let's go back to the lessons." As the students were dealing with studies, we cut to Izuku entering a building, and while he was making his way to the destination, a familiar face caught his eye. In fact, he had to do a double take. But his eyes weren't imagining it. The doctor that had helped with the Project Hercules, Dr. Kudai Garaki, looked over some patient files, enjoying a cup of coffee. But the moment he got distracted, the doctor was nowhere to be found. Izuku looked around, and he found a female staff member. "Excuse me, young lady," Izuku said, being polite, catching the female member's attention. "I was wondering if a certain Dr. Kudagaraki could be found in this building?" I'm sorry," the lady frowned. "I just do the cleanup around here. I'm sure if you got to see the front desk, someone there could help you." Izuku thanked the lady and made his way to the front desk, only to bump into a guy wearing a paper bag over his head, making him fall. "I apologize. I haven't been paying attention," Izuku said, giving the guy a hand. "I'm Izuku Midori, you are?" You're the first hero," the guy said in shock. You can call me Jin. I never expected to see someone like you in a place like this." "Trust me when I say neither did I," Izuku said, sighing. "But according to a dear friend of mine, I need therapy." "Therapy?" Jin questioned. "So you're here to see Dr. Stevens? Just be careful, he's a bit strange." "I'm assuming he's a friend of yours?" Izuku questioned. "No, we're not friends," Jin said. "I'm one of his patients. I've been seeing him for months." "I see," Izuku trailed off. "Since you've been coming here, would you by chance know if a doctor going by the name Kudagaraki is here?" "Nope, never heard of him. The only doctors I'm acquainted with is Stevens and Tsubasa. But Dr. Tsubasa lost a family member recently. His grandson died months ago, and he has been busy since." "I see," Izuku responded. "Well, I'll be going to see if anyone at the front desk could help me." "Wait," Jin said, with a bit of desperation in his voice, causing Izuku to stop in his tracks. "You're the first person that has been nice to me and talked to me like a regular person. And Dr. Stevens has been telling me to talk to other people, so I was wondering if we can be friends." "Why would you want to be friends with me?" Izuku said, thinking about his past. "No matter what people call me, I'm just a loser that keeps on losing. More time passes, the clearer it becomes." "Don't say that. You're still young, and by the looks of it. But to answer your question," Jun trailed off, "that look in your eyes, I've seen those eyes on myself not too long ago, and it does pain me to see them on a teenager." "I appreciate the sentiment," Izuku said. "Even though I'm a teenager, I've been through a lot. And that's probably the reason I have to see a therapist." There was an awkward silence until Izuku cleared his throat. "Tell you what," Izuku said, giving a piece of paper with his phone number. "Send me a text so I can get your number, and I'll let you know if I'm free. We can hang out. How's that sound?" I would appreciate very much," Jin said as tears of joy flowed down his cheeks. After Jin left, Izuku looked around for Dr. Garaki, but failing miserably. Izuku instead went to his appointment with Dr. Stevens. While that was going on, we cut to a known location. "Doctor," a man called as the monitor turned on. "You seem a bit fidgety. Did something happen?" "Master," the doctor said, "while I was searching for the patient, I ran into him, but luckily I lost him." "Do you think he will interfere with your side project?" the master questioned. "No, sir. Even though we should expect it, considering the present we got him," the doctor said. "I never knew he'd spot me like that." "Well then, keep me updated," the master said, ending the conversation as the monitor turned off. We skipped to the next day in Class 1A. The students were inside the class as some were getting annoyed. Where is Sensei? Ida said, pacing back and forth. And didn't Recovery Girl say that Izuku was in top condition? Why is he not here? Ida, you might want to check on the board, Kaminari said. Self-study? Ida lamented. Which one of you wrote this on the board? None of us did. Something is going on, Todoroki said. Otherwise, my father wouldn't be here. Something's going on, you say? Melissa said, smirking. I bet you all $20 is about the USJ. Oh my god. Do you think that Izuku already discovered the villain's plan and he is now assembling a team of the best pro heroes? Kirishima said, fanboying. Bringing those villains to justice with a cool one-liner and then giving them an inspirational speech about justice, freedom, and teamwork? Hey, shitty hair. If that was the case, he would have called me, Baku said. Why though? Kaminari questioned. You're not a pro. Yet, Baku exclaimed. Because I'm the B in best. I thought you were the B in bitch, Todoroki retorted. What was that, you icy hot bastard? Baku scowled. Boys, Melissa said, rolling her eyes. You really think that Izuku is making a super secret boy band to fight crime? For a badass group, it needs a badass name, Kirishima said. Which is why it should be called the Justice League. Wrong series, fanboy, Jiro said, throwing a DC comic at him. No, it shall be called the Booty Slappers of Just Ass, Mineta shouted with a perverted energy. The girls looked at Mineta with killing intent that made every perv in every series want to run away and not look back. And they decide to ask Zero to borrow some tape to hang Mineta from the ceiling, beating him up like a piñata. And before Ida could interject, he was taped to the wall, upside down with a note describing what he was about to do. So, ignoring that, do you think we should sneak up on them to see what they're planning? Melissa questioned, making some of the students to go see what the UA teachers were doing. Meanwhile, in Battleground Gamma, UA staff members, including Izuku's mother, Gran Torino, and Endeavor, were united there for Nana's funeral. Principal Nezu acted like a preacher, as he said a few words, also allowing others to do the same, until the moment it was Izuku's turn. Izuku, Hana called softly, placing her hand on his shoulder. I know you have much that you haven't told her, so here's your chance. I've already told everything there was to tell, Izuku said, smiling as tears were leaking out. But I haven't given her the gift meant for her. Izuku made his way to the makeshift coffin and pulled out the ring he used as a pendant and placed it on her finger. This was always meant for you, Izuku started, as he placed a kiss on her deformed forehead. Watch over me until the day we meet again. I promise I'll always keep smiling, just the way you wanted me to. Is that everything? Endeavor asked. Yes, Izuku answered. Now let's put her to rest like she was meant to, and also ensuring that her corpse won't be the foul one anymore. On the signal, Endeavor burned Nana's corpse to ash. Izuku walked up to Nezu. Is there something wrong? Nezu questioned. Yes, Izuku replied. I had some time to think, and I found out there was a filthy rat. Are you sure? Nezu questioned. You know how heavily of an accusation that is, right? I'm fully aware, sir, Izuku said. But I'm also sure that an old dog can't learn new tricks. How sure are you? Nezu questioned. And can you allow yourself to speak here? Yes, you're right, Izuku said. But be at ease. The rat isn't here. and we can discuss further matters in your office, because I intend to use and abuse the advantage we have. You have a plan? Nezu questioned. They didn't call me a man of 1,000 plans for nothing, Izuku said, as he and the teachers headed towards Nezu's office, unaware on what's to come. Figures could be seen in the observation room, watching and listening the whole time, making the figures gasp in shock. To be continued.